Florida has always been sold as the American dream. Sunshine all year, palm trees, no state income tax, beaches, retirement paradise, and a lifestyle millions dreamed of. For decades, people packed their lives, left cold northern states, and moved to Florida believing they had found the perfect place to live. But something unexpected is happening in 2026. Americans aren't just slowing down their move to Florida, they're quietly leaving it. This isn't a loud exodus. You won't see dramatic headlines everywhere. But if you look closely at rising, for sale, signs, changing migration patterns, and growing frustration among residents, the message is clear: Florida is no longer working for everyone. Families, retirees, remote workers, and even lifelong Floridians are rethinking their future. Many say the costs are rising faster than their incomes. Others feel daily life has become stressful, risky, or unstable. And some admit the Florida they moved to simply doesn't exist anymore. In this video, we'll break down why Americans are leaving Florida in 2026, what has changed, and what this trend means for the future of the Sunshine State. If you love honest travel insights, real migration trends, and decoding life across countries and cities, welcome to Travel Decoded. Let's start. Rising costs. Florida used to be affordable. That was one of its biggest attractions. In 2026, that advantage is disappearing fast. Housing prices in many Florida cities have doubled compared to just a few years ago. Rent increases have hit families the hardest, forcing many residents to spend more than half of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Property taxes, maintenance fees, and homeowners association costs have quietly climbed as well. But housing is only part of the problem. Car insurance in Florida is now among the highest in the United States. Home insurance has become so expensive that some companies have completely left the state, leaving homeowners with fewer options and higher premiums. Everyday expenses like groceries, utilities, and healthcare are also rising faster than wages. For many Americans, Florida no longer feels like a financial upgrade. Instead, it feels like a constant struggle to keep up. And that's pushing people to look elsewhere. Climate pressure. Florida's climate used to be its biggest selling point. Now, for many residents, it's becoming the biggest concern. In 2026, extreme heat lasts longer and feels more intense. Summers are not just hot, they're exhausting. Daily life becomes harder, especially for older adults, outdoor workers, and families with children. Hurricanes are another major factor. Stronger storms, frequent flooding, and longer recovery times have turned hurricane season into a yearly source of anxiety. Even people who never experienced major damage are feeling the mental and financial stress of constant preparedness. Sea level rise is no longer a future threat, it's a present reality. Coastal communities are dealing with flooded streets, saltwater intrusion, and expensive infrastructure problems. Some homeowners are discovering their properties are becoming harder to insure or sell. For many Americans, the Florida weather no longer feels relaxing. It feels risky. Insurance crisis. One of the biggest reasons people are leaving Florida quietly is insurance, something rarely discussed before it's too late. In 2026, home insurance premiums in Florida have skyrocketed. Some homeowners have seen their insurance costs double or triple in just a few years. Others have had their policies canceled with little warning. Car insurance has followed the same pattern. Accidents, lawsuits, and fraud issues have pushed rates to extreme levels. For families with multiple vehicles, insurance alone can feel like a second rent payment. This insurance crisis is forcing people into impossible choices: pay thousands more each year, or leave the state entirely. Many are choosing to leave, especially retirees and middle-income families living on fixed or limited budgets. Quality of life. Florida's lifestyle once promised ease, freedom, and enjoyment. But many residents say daily life has become more stressful than expected. While Florida has many hospitals, demand has increased faster than supply. Finding affordable care, specialists, or timely appointments has become difficult in some regions. Schools and community services are under pressure too. Families moving in have stretched resources, while long-time residents feel services haven't improved at the same pace as costs. For some Americans, Florida no longer offers balance, just pressure. Changing migration trends. The type of people moving to Florida has changed, and so has the reason people are leaving. In the early 2020s, Florida attracted remote workers and families escaping expensive states. But by 2026, many companies are ending remote work and calling employees back to offices located elsewhere. At the same time, states once considered too cold or boring are now offering lower costs, better infrastructure, and more stability. Places like the Midwest, the Carolinas, and parts of Texas are becoming more attractive options. Many Americans don't hate Florida, it simply no longer fits their future plans. And when people leave quietly, migration trends shift faster than most expect. Reality check. Florida is not collapsing, but it is changing. For wealthy residents, investors, and seasonal visitors, Florida can still be an amazing place. But for middle-class families, retirees, and workers, the gap between the dream and reality has widened. The Florida people imagined was affordable, calm, and secure. The Florida many experience in 2026 feels expensive, unpredictable, and stressful. That's why Americans aren't leaving Florida loudly. They're leaving carefully, thoughtfully, and quietly. Florida will always have sunshine, beaches, and global appeal. But in 2026, those alone are no longer enough to keep people rooted there. Rising costs, climate risks, insurance problems, and changing lifestyles are reshaping the state's future. The quiet departures we see today may define Florida's next decade. If you're thinking about moving, traveling, or understanding global living trends, knowing the full story matters, not just the Instagram version. If this video helped you see Florida from a new perspective, like the video, subscribe to Travel Decoded, and stay with us as we continue decoding the world, one destination at a time. Thanks for watching.